quiet. Give us a couple of beats, weirdo. Good gracious. Let me sip my coffee.
So I have a suggestion if you don't have it yet.
Okay.
If you don't have this palette from Kimchi, her and which one is it?
Is that Naomi Smalls?
Naomi Smalls, yes.
Oh.
2 Queens, 1 Desert palette.
Whoa.
Girl. Hold on, I'm opening because I kept the box. Give me a second here. 2 Queens, 1 palette. This palette.
Oh, wow.
I was looking for some greens and yellows.
That's a really nice palette.
Yeah, I was looking for some greens and yellows that wouldn't like blanch me out because it's hard for white people to get that stuff to where it doesn't make them look dead.
If you had just told me that, I could have recommended you to go. There's a really awesome green and yellow palette at Ulta.
I am happy to support Kimchi because this stuff, I just decided to put a little bit on my eye before this started. I don't know if you can see it. I winked the wrong one. Okay. Just to see. That is one tiny application, and it is already pretty yellow, which you can't see because I've got light on me.
Do you use eyeshadow primer?
I do whenever I'm actually doing something.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I really like the Too Faced brand. Like, that's my favorite one.
I am a very big fan of, so I have to be careful with primers and stuff because I break out so easily.
That's true.
I will, and I get those nasty, weird, like pore clogging, gross looking pimples, especially around my nose. But the eyes, I'll get some little styes, right? It's not good. It's just not good. The one that I found that I really like is I've got it right here, the NYX Proof It.
Ooh.
Yeah. I haven't used it in a while, but last time I used it, it was perfect. Like it went on well. Yeah.
Okay. NYX Proof It. I'll keep that in mind because I always am on the lookout for good ones.
And the best setting spray that I've found is I swear to God, I sweat so much whenever I put on makeup. I've only found one that does not make me feel like I'm wearing a plastic mask and cannot sweat. I know. And that is the Wet n Wild one. And I know it sounds real cheap.
I don't care. You know,
it is.
I love Wet n Wild.
It smells like coconut, and it is fantastic.
Wet n Wild's got some really awesome products. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, and I bought something else. I went on a little shopping spree, little tiny one. I bought the Trixie, which palette is this one? The blush one. Which one is this? This isn't Mod About You, it's the other one. The Summer of Love, I think it is.
Okay.
It is so cute! Pinks and whites! The Mod About You one, those are your colors. Just throwing that out there. And it works really well. Like, I am so impressed by Trixie Mattel and Kimchi's makeup. Those two, of all of the, like, we're doing a collab makeup ones, are the best two I found.
I like it. I'm down.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get started.
Are you ready to go into episode 7, Perky's Visit?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go into... Hey, everybody!
Hey, y'all!
I'm the divine Miss Mims.
I am your Auntie Maim.
And this is Baking Sugar, a Designing Women podcast, where we are going episode by episode by episode by episode by episode by episode of Designing Women. I wasn't going to forget it. It was a dramatic pause.
It wasn't dramatic enough. If you do a dramatic pause on a podcast, you have to go, that's what you do first.
Oh, I see. You know, you're right. So since our last episode, we're doing 2 together right now. So I don't know if we know if we're going or coming. Hey, I did that earlier today. Well, oh God.
Sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry.
She is 30 years old. She has heard these jokes before.
The what's great is that the most important thing that happened on our last episode is that Anthony Bouvier has arrived.
Ooh, Anthony, the first black man in Georgia.
Yes.
We are getting soon, very soon. This episode, we are getting the full cast, right?
Yep,
I mean, except for the last 2 seasons, and those of you who don't know, we'll get to it eventually, but there's some rifts that happen in the cast. There's some allegations. First one person leaves, then 2 people leave, and they have to, then a 3rd person leaves for the replacement of the one person, which they should have never kept her on. God, did nobody watch Newhart and realize how bad she was as an actress? Anyway, how about we get started with this episode?
I love it. You were going down the rabbit hole there.
I don't think Patricia Duffy is funny.
You were literally you were just spiraling. You were spiraling.
That is her first name, right? Patricia Duffy?
Julia Duffy.
Julia Duffy. Why do I keep saying Patricia Duffy? Whatever. Julia Duffy. No, she's not funny. She
I mean, some people must have thought she was. She had a career.
She's been on 2 shows.
Is that it?
I mean, there may be more, but we'll get to that whenever it comes up. This is episode 7, Perky's Visit.
I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. And that's Marjorie. Just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia. The lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out. And that is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
Oh man, this was November 24th, 1986. So if you hear the date, yes, this will be around Thanksgiving in 1986.
And this is a Thanksgiving episode, y'all.
It's
Thanksgiving. Oh, yay. Thanksgiving in February. We're in February right now. This will be coming out in March. So Thanksgiving in March. Yay.
But man, we start off. If you guys notice, sometimes they'll like to set the mood for the episode with the theme music, and as they're opening up in the scene, it has a somber sound to it.
And Charlene is upset. She's answering the phone, and she's crying. She's sobbing, and you find out why. Her boyfriend Mason, who we have yet to see.
No, we've seen Mason. Mason.
Oh my God, he's fat, America.
Yes. We did a whole episode about him.
Jesus, completely. He was that memorable, America.
we did an entire episode about him.
I'm putting out of my misery.
Did you not catch all the new fat jokes? Like,
dude, I just didn't think about it. I was picturing some buff hunk of man, not that man who's only fat because he's got more than one chin. Anyway, he's off to. He doesn't even weigh 300 pounds. Like they keep making those jokes. He doesn't weigh 300 pounds.
He might.
No. I know a 300-pound man looks like who's that tall. He weighs at 275 max. And we aren't rounding up. It's the 80s. Anyway, Mason's off to Tokyo.
Yeah, which is like really unusual. I was like, oh, I guess it's for business, but nobody usually like moves to another country for business. They usually just go visit a country for business.
Right. But more importantly, Suzanne is cooking Thanksgiving dinner. Like she has started cooking this stuff the day before. Like, I don't know what she's baking. She's wearing the cutest little apron,
Yes.
just trying to cook. You know, she's never cooked before in her life. And you find out that Mary Jo's bringing JD, and Julia and Suzanne's mom, Perky, and her friend are coming.
I like Suzanne, not Suzanne. I like Charlene's line where she's like, Suzanne, do you think it's a good idea to learn how to cook the day before Thanksgiving?
I know.
I'm like, girl, we've all been there.
So Anthony was running a little late. He came in, and you know, Charlene's been trying to call him, and you know, page him, because this was time of pagers. And she said, "Did you get my page?" She's like, "Yes, I did." And I was gonna try to call you, and the man beside me, Mercedes-Benz, had a cell phone. Now, a mobile phone, excuse me. For those of you who don't know,
he didn't say mobile phone. He said a car phone.
A car phone. For those of you that don't know what a car phone is, it looks like a plastic toy phone that you actually, and like an old style digital phone that you put up to your ear, and you and they didn't work all the time either.
Did your dad have one?
He did in his failed business. Yes, he did.
The only person I knew at the time that had one was our pastor.
Wow. That America was a dramatic pause.
Wow. Somebody definitely needs to get that Patreon now, because you need to see the look that he just made. Wow.
Yeah. So she's like, fine, I understand. But did you deliver the stuff to Tommy Thompson?
Tommy Thompson. Here we go.
And Anthony was like, yes, but I don't like going over there because he keeps checking me out and making things like, look at his back, blah, 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 blah. And
once again showcasing Anthony's hidden skill of gay voice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't think it was a little gay baity, right? But not for the time. You know, in the context of the time, a black man going to a gay man's house, and this is as uncomfortable as he got. You know, just working with all the stereotypes here. We're just working with all of the stereotypes. It was pretty well handled.
I was at the time. I was a little bit nervous because I was like, "Where's his impersonation going?"
Yeah.
But you know, when the joke all it was like, "Would you like a cocktail?" and Anthony's reply was, "Don't cocktail me." I was like, "Okay, thank goodness. Okay, great."
And you find out that and possibly what's even influencing his mood towards him is not the fact he's gay, but the fact he really makes fun of Julia whenever Julia's not around. He's mean to Julia, and Anthony's very supportive of Julia.
Yep. Speaking of Julia.
And Anthony says that he's going to take him out, in the mobster sort of way, not in the for dinner sort of way. We find out that Anthony's coming to Thanksgiving as well, and then Julia comes in saying that she is not going to pay that ticket. Going to pay that ticket. Do you want to tell the world what happened, Auntie? Why she's not going to pay that ticket?
Okay, this is the best story ever. So, Julia and Mary Jo are driving to the bank to make a deposit because the bank doesn't take in-person deposits until 10 o'clock. And the car breaks down.
Makes sense.
Right, makes sense. And the car breaks down. So, while the car is being serviced on location, which was weird, while it's being serviced on location, Mary Jo and Julia decides that they're still going to go to the bank. So, they walk their lily white butts over to the bank, into the drive-thru, and are trying to make a deposit while standing in the drive-thru, in which case the bank then said they're not going to take their money, in which case Julia then commandeers somebody's vehicle and tries to make them drive her up to the bank.
Well, the thing is, so it was it was the person behind them in line. So she just got in the back seat and was like, take me through. And the manager of the bank was like, ma'am, get out of the car and then call the cops.
I mean, if you really think about it, right? Like, Julia, that's a big Karen. That's some big Karen energy right there, right? Like,
now, here's the thing. Here's the side part that I don't understand. Okay.
okay.
And while this joke very much works, banks have a door for you to put your deposit in. They have for years. And they give everyone a key. You open the key, you throw your deposit in there, and you lock it up. It works. It's comedy. It's fine. Don't analyze it, Miss Mims. Let's move on.
So like I was analyzing it also I was over analyzing it also. My biggest gripe with that scene is the fact that the car is broken down and the car is being worked on. So if the car is being worked on right now, why didn't they just wait for the car to be fixed and then take the car over to the bank?
Emergency designing issues.
Oh, okay. Got you. I know.
I don't know what the hell that even means.
I literally was like, wait, that doesn't make any sitcom. It shouldn't make sense. But
wait. We've learned that Suzanne can't do design, and Charlene is only the office manager from the last episode, and Anthony's black, so obviously he can't do anything. So if somebody came in with a design need, they had to be back.
Do you think, and I was wondering this too, do you think that they took a cab back?
No, I think it was a police car. That's what I thought. So Suzanne and Julia do a couple of sister jabs at each other. I thought that was really cute. I didn't write them down because they weren't that, enthralling, but it was just a cute little scene between the two of them.
It was.
Mary Jo starts crying or being very upset because it's first. Oh, wait. Yeah, we're actually, at Thanksgiving now.
It skipped to Thanksgiving the next day. Okay. That was what happened on the commercial break. We went actually to Thanksgiving Day.
I forgot to write down commercial break in my papers.
Yeah.
ASM. Papers. I just made somebody very excited.
Which, once again, also still didn't make sense because the bank shouldn't have even been open at all that day.
So this is Mary Jo's first Thanksgiving without her kids. And then Perky and Bernice come in. You have Perky, who is played by Louise Latham, who you may know from Gunsmoke. And she's just that person. She is a character actress. Most people are like younger than us. Probably will have no reference for her.
You should watch Gunsmoke, though. It's quite good.
It is. And then Bernice, played by the comic genius Alice Ghostly, who, if you've ever watched Bewitched, not the movie is trash. And if you're watching WandaVision right now, they actually do an episode of Bewitched in it. Did I just ruin WandaVision for you?
For who?
You. Have you been watching it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. She played Aunt Esmeralda, who was the kooky, embarrassed one who would get embarrassed and turn invisible. She's a comic genius. Like, she is deadpan. Somehow she's both the straight man and the silly one at the same time. Like, she lives in her own little world, and you just have to accept it.
She's like my I literally didn't realize until I was watching this episode. I was like, wait, she's literally my comedy goals. Like the way that she plays all of these different types of highs and lows. I'm like, that's literally my comedy. That's what I want out of comedy.
Speaking of older actresses and comedy and line delivery and that sort of thing, did you ever watch Star Trek Voyager? Have you watched any of it?
All I've watched so far, because I am trying to get through them all.
Okay.
I've done Next Generation.
Okay.
I've done Deep Space Nine now.
Have you gone all the way through Deep Space Nine yet?
No, I'm on like the 3rd or 4th season now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It gets bad.
So is it? I mean, if it's really bad, I mean, if you're telling me for sure it's not great, I will jump to Voyager.
It's one of those things. Keep watching it till you hate it.
Okay.
Like about the last episode is one of the worst episodes of television.
I think for me, you know what the thing is about that? The thing I like about that show is it's almost like a So do you remember this is another 80s reference. Do you remember the 80s show Hotel with James Brolin? James Brolin, and it was like James Brolin and Stephanie something. But he was like, that was like peak Brolin, like when he was at his absolute.
Was it a comedy or was it a drama?
No, it was a drama. It was an hour-long nighttime drama. It was like, but that was like peak Brolin hotness. And obviously, I watched it as a kid, and for some reason, I was drawn to James Brolin as you do. Anyway, the thing that I liked about it is that's what Deep Space Nine reminds me of, because it's basically Hotel was like a dramatic version of Love Boat, where Hotel was just like, here are guest stars every week. Here's some random thing. And I'm like, gosh, Deep Space Nine is kind of like Star Trek Hotel. Like, that's what it feels like to me. So I think that's
why. I gotcha. Well, watch it till it gets bad. But going through all this, when you get to did you watch Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
Okay, Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah.
Okay. She plays Captain Janeway in Voyager.
Oh.
I was watching Guess Who's Coming to Dinner last night a little bit because I can't watch more than like 20 minutes of that movie. It is very bad. I understand its social relevance, but Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn are charming and wonderful until they're not. In that movie. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Sidney Poitier feels like he doesn't even want to be there. I mean, but at the time, it was one of the most socially relevant movies ever made.
Ever.
Watching it now, it is a slog to get through, and it's so long. So long.
I would say I still do like it. However, if you're going to find a good movie from that time period about that subject matter, I would say watch In the Heat of the Night more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yes. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time Sidney Poitier's parents come, you are like, I just don't even care anymore. So you've been with these rich white people for 2 hours, and there's still another hour to go somehow. Anyway, but Ms. Mulgrew's line delivery in watching an older Katharine Hepburn, because she's got the same rasp in her voice, you learn that's how, like, just watching her, that's where she got how to do line delivery. Because we're now moving on to Voyager. All that to say, let's go back to the episode.
we just went off on the craziest TV like tunnel just now. When we go back to listen to this episode, we're like, how did that just happen?
So Bernice turns, like, everybody introduced each other. Bernice turned, my favorite comment from this is Bernice to Suzanne.
Oh gosh, I love it.
I know you. and Suzanne's like, I don't think you do. And Bernice just looks at her and says, you're from America, aren't you? Yeah, like, this is Bernice through and through. There's one episode, my actual favorite episode, it's got to be season 3 or season 4, focused on Bernice, and it is, bam, comedy gold.
Like, Bernice, just for you to know, audience, this is not her. This is the first time you're seeing Designing Women, this is just the first of many Bernice drops. Like, it's not a one and done.
So you find out, just talking through everybody, that Perky's completely okay with Anthony. There could have been, she's old Southern, she could have not been.
Oh, she is. Anthony came and did the carpet.
Breaking news.
What happened? What happened?
Tommy Thompson's dead.
Oh, no, not Tommy Thompson. He was such a treasured man.
Foul play is expected.
No, who could have done something like that?
Charlene, do you think it was Anthony?
No, it can't be Anthony.
I think it may be him. He was in jail.
Oh, that's true, Mary Jo. He did say when Mason got mad, when I got mad at Mason, that, he made that joke that he'll kill him by the pound.
And then Julia says, wait, don't jump to conclusions. And Perky's the only one who's like, y'all are idiots.
No, thank you, Perky. Thank you,
Like,
thank you, older Southern white lady, for being a little bit more progressive.
wait. Anthony's here. Act normal.
Oh, shoot. Where do I stick my hood?
Oh, God. And then Anthony goes up to Bernice and says, how do you do? And she says, well, I'm alive.
Yes. Once again, another t-shirt right there. Another t-shirt.
So, I just want to reflect on how racist this is. Speaking of in the heat of the night.
The entire conversation prior to Anthony coming in was a little problematic.
A little?
Yeah.
A little? Like,
it was really problematic.
I mean, I understand. Again, this is one of those things that I feel like Linda Bloodworth Thompson is doing the let's be racially on the edge. And she's like, she may have gone past on the edge just to flat out racism. But let's keep going and see how this little comedy turns out. Hint, folks, he didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it. Imagine that.
So
that's why he's in the credits. He didn't do it.
At dinner, the food is inedible, except for the maroon dish. And it's canned beets. What the hell did she do to canned beets to make them maroon?
I don't know. Oh my gosh, I just had a thought.
Okay.
Could you imagine, could you imagine if this show Anthony did actually do the murder, and for the next 5 seasons, Anthony is still on the show, but they just go and visit him in prison?
And then it comes to find out that he screwed up the wiring at Design House too.
And then it just turned into a 5-season arc about Anthony's actually been the mastermind behind all of these terrible things happening.
And then there's a crossover with Angela Lansbury for Murder, She Wrote.
You get to hear this terrible thing about Mason once he got to Tokyo. Somehow he got taken up by the Yakuza, who's being led by Anthony. Gosh, it's been Anthony all along.
And his real name is Hollywood, and he is gay. Oh, God. So JD's not there, and Anthony offers to take care of him in the mafia sort of way.
Yes. Like, they don't help. They don't help this episode by doing that stuff.
Like, this is the only time Anthony ever says this kind of stuff. Mary Jo asks what Anthony was in for, and Anthony says, I'd rather not talk about it. And all of a sudden, Perky and Bernice are moving to Montana.
Yep.
And Bernice is like, you know what? Today's Thursday. It's time for me to watch Bing Crosby. And I think you mean Bill Cosby. And I would like to mention Anthony, again, being socially relevant here. He said he likes to watch Bill Cosby because he's always wanted to, he's planned to live his life like him, finish high school, get a medical degree, and quit using the word be as a verb. I was like, Anthony, that's actually pretty on point. Like,
I mean, it is kind of on point, but I was also like, oh boy, because a black person did not write this script. So I was like, I really hope that was an improvised line from Anthony, because if it wasn't, that's kind of a problem.
Oh, it wasn't.
Right? I literally was like,
well, you know what? I wonder who was if most of them just have Linda as the writer, right?
Yeah.
Like she I don't think there's a writer's room for this. I think it's her. God, she really was the Tina Fey of the 80s, wasn't she?
I suppose so.
I mean, with the same racial sensitivity, right? Like,
definitely. I think for me, like the great thing about this little exchange was just the fact that even after Anthony explained it to Bernice, which is why I love Bernice so much, even after he explained that she was getting Bing Crosby mixed up with Bill Cosby, that Bernice basically, Anthony said he's white and he's dead, and Bernice literally says, well, that's really good of him. He has such great ratings. And I was like, that's why I love her character so much.
Well, Suzanne enters with a comic pie.
That pie was amazing, by the way.
It really was. Dry ice in a...
It was a lot. It was a lot of smoke coming off of it.
And Bernice just says, okay, make a wish. So now Anthony's asleep. It's a little bit later. Anthony's fallen asleep.
Yeah, technically Anthony's passed out because they
passed out from wine, right?
Yeah, he drank too much wine. Again.
Perky and Suzanne and Julia are cleaning up, and Perky comes over there. They're having conversation about why Suzanne even decided need to cook. You know, this is not what you're meant to do. Julia used to liberate the servants, and Suzanne used to have them run lemonade stands. It's like, liberate the servants? Liberate the liberate
once again that beautiful writing.
Liberate the servants. Like, granted, it was the 50s but I get, well, okay, that is true. Even in the 50s in Georgia, they did basically have lifelong contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could break them, but
once again, we promised you, audience, that this is not always going to be jokey, because some of the things in this show, from the perspective of people that lived in the South, namely myself and Miss Mims, some of these things are actually kind of problematic.
Yes.
But we get back to Perky, who really is very upset because she really feels like Julia has stopped talking to her and they've stopped treating her like an independent woman.
And I would like to mention that it is, you know, I have an aging grandmother, right? My grandmother's 90 now. And so it does start off with hey, how are you doing? What's new? You know, it does start off every time I talk to her as sort of repetitive going through the motions until we get to past that. And it's hard. Like it just because you want to make sure the person's okay. Right. And I think that is children watching out for their elderly folks. And I wonder how much of it comes from we as a society don't really take care of our elderly people. Like, we throw them in homes, we put them away, as opposed to the Japanese and other cultures where they actually move in with the children. Yeah, it's very, just something to think about. How's that?
It definitely is. I mean, I have an aging parent, right? My mom will be 75 this year.
Yeah.
And, you know, she, however, is at that point where if I said, hey, Mom, come live with me, she'd be like, no, because she is actually very much enjoying being independent. And I can imagine, you know, when Perky even says it about moving into that home, I was like, you know what? I feel like if my mom had to like pick up from her house and get put into a home, she would probably be in the same mindset as Perky.
Yeah, we were looking at options for my grandmother. Like, she was living with my aunt. My aunt passed away. And it was like, do we put her in, because she's not an invalid at all. She can still clean her house. She can still, you know, do everything except for drive. Please, Lord, she hasn't been able to drive since she was 50, so let's not have her drive now. I mean, she did drive. She shouldn't. Anyway. But like, what do we do with her? We decided, you know, the best thing would be a apartment that we could easily get to, right? And she loves her independence. Like, she's like, why didn't I do this so long ago? We're like, you could have. But back to this. The police are there.
Well, hold on. We do get to arrive at the fact that she's not moving away.
Oh, of course she's
right.
Not.
We had to have a resolution to this little thing in the air because it actually was a moment where, like, once again, the music changed, and we had to have a little lesson about treating someone like an old person versus treating him like a person.
I'm so glad you're paying attention to these music cues because I don't care. No,
Then,
it's yes.
so then so my biggest gripe, my single biggest gripe is about to happen. Now, when the police officer gets there,
Julia's walking to the door. She's
Yep.
like, "We will not turn him in. He is innocent until proven guilty." Blah 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 blah. Open the door. He's right over there, and I am not going to hold a fugitive.
that's not technically my problem, but
Right.
my biggest problem wasn't that. My biggest problem is that the police officer didn't have a southern accent.
It's Atlanta. They won't all have southern accents. You know they have to go. You know, police officers in America have to go to school for at least 4 years at a university before they. Wait, that's not right. That's Europe.
Yeah, that's not right. That you just have to like go to like a training. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. So,
Good.
but the thing is, right, is that okay? This is very nitpicky, I know, but this guy didn't even have like a neutral accent. He literally sounded like a New Yorker. I was like, how did they get this one actor that doesn't even sound neutral? Like I sound neutral, but I was raised in the South.
Yeah.
This guy sounds like he literally just moved there from Queens.
Maybe he was an extra for that one show. What was the show with the aliens who lived in America? Like they came down.
Alien Nation?
Alien Nation. Maybe he was an extra for that and just like
Wait.
what?
Of all of the shows for you to pick that he might have been an extra on at the time, you know, things like Cagney and Lacey, Hills, what's it, the all of the cop shows that were out at the time.
All the cop shows I could think of were out like after 86. Like I was thinking NYPD Blue, that's too late.
Do you remember Hill Street Blues?
Hill Street Blues, yeah, but that's not.
That was a huge show at that time.
I know. The Commish, that's later than.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Oh, these aren't good shows. Alien Nation was at least, you know, interesting because how do we deal with the refugee crisis? About the same shitty way we are doing it now.
It didn't change at all.
No.
It's almost like they watched the show and that's how they got their policies.
So the cop is going, what's going on here? And Bernice just looks over at Anthony. Well, I'm not sure, but I think this man has been holding us hostage. So they say, no, we're talking about the Tommy Thompson murder. And he's like, oh, the partner made a full confession. The business partner made a full confession.
The business partner. They keep saying business partner, and the whole time I'm just like, Lord have mercy.
So the cop was just returning an earring to Julia because she lost it in the cop car. And that's why I think the cop car took him home.
Yeah, no, I forgot about him saying that. You're right.
Yep. So the women all apologize to Anthony Bouvier. And the Bernice gives her last piece of advice. It's very long, and it's basically, remember when it's dark and rainy and blah, blah, blah outside. Cover your head with your coat. End.
Oh, Bernice, I am so happy she's here now. I even as a child, when I watched this the first time, those were my favorite episodes. I always waited for Bernice to show up.
So, what did you think of this episode?
I love this episode simply because Bernice is here.
Yeah.
The rest of it's a bit of a problem. But it's so funny, right? Because you can see what something's trying to do.
Uh-huh.
But because it has such a limited scope in how to do it, it sometimes doesn't come off the right way. And I mean, that's honestly what I feel like is happening in this episode. Like, she had really good intentions when she wrote it. It was really about, you know, not letting looks be deceiving and all of that stuff. I totally got it. But then I was like, but then you made all of your characters, right? Like none of the main characters, which is kind of like the same issue that I had with the He's Fat America, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is none of the main characters are being counter to like these lessons narratives, right? Like all four of them were all like, oh crap. And not like all of them weren't bad, right? Because Charlene was like wanting to like save him and everything else, but it was like everybody just assumed he did it. I was like, why does this keep happening? Like, why don't they split into two factions? That would make this for a much more interesting kind of dialogue.
Like why don't you have Charlene and Suzanne on one side and like Mary Jo and
literally like
or Mary Jo and Suzanne. I could see that too.
Yeah, it's like why do all four of them have to unilaterally decide, oh wait, no, Anthony is definitely guilty. I was like and like I said, like that's kind of the issue, and this is kind of something that I'll be happy to watch, like, and see how this bears out over time, because it does feel like it's always when there's another party present that, we did this thing in improv, right? It's called A-B conversations, right? So that's kind of how a scene goes. And I noticed that anytime it's a relevant social topic, all four of them are like on side A, and it's usually an extra person in the show that's on side B. And so, like, whether it be Mason as the fat guy telling people to not make fun of fat people, whether it be Perky that's like, y'all are jumping to conclusions and you're crazy, but it's never like one of them that's on that opposite side.
And this is very different than, just going on your point, I'll tell you what I think about the episode. That is very different from, say, Golden Girls, which was on about the same time, where I think of the episode where Blanche's brother comes out, and Blanche is on side A, which is against like her brother coming out, and Rose is on side B, which is just talk to him, love your brother, it doesn't matter. And
right.
Eventually
it would be like if you took that same episode, all four of them were like, he shouldn't come out, and then what's his name? Richard from Empty Nest shows up, and he's like, hey, I'm Dr. Richard. You should really be good to your brother. And then they're all like, oh, wait, you're right. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Right. So I like this episode. It's so the comedy aspect of it is so solid.
Yeah.
Right. The visual comedy, the white fear, they did such good at that. Like, and it is white fear, right? And they did exemplify that. But I don't know. I guess I'm on the fence about it. It's funny. I laughed. I cringed.
Yes.
Right? Like.
Yeah. And that's how I felt about it too. It was like, there's so many moments in this episode where it's like, it really is one of the funniest episodes to me. But also I'm like, my eyes get big. I'm like,
And the worst part about it all is they all apologize to Anthony, but like he's stuck in this situation because he can't find another job.
No, he can't.
Like, he should, if it were today and like he was able to find a new job, he would be gone. Like, this would be do you see what y'all did? This is wrong. You're wrong. You're the problem, not me. Bye. But because he's a convict, he doesn't have that luxury, right? So it's very Jim Crow, I guess is the best way to put it.
Wow. So if we redid this now, I guess Anthony would be played by, based on all of our modern culture, Viola Davis?
No, I'd put him a little bit younger. I'd probably make him oh God, what is her name?
Well, I mean, Viola's the one that always was getting lumped into these racial lesson movies for like a while.
Right. But I want it to be Janelle Monáe.
Yes, so she actually worked through. But it's just funny because like we're still at that point culturally where we're basically still having the same episode play out on our media.
Or Monique.
I would love if Monique was if Monique was in this exact situation. Monique would cuss out every single one of them, set fire to the house, and then just walk away, Angela Bassett style, like in Waiting Next.
Yeah. I mean, or actually at the time, if we are recasting Meshach for just this role, I actually think, even though she's not that good of an actress, Queen Latifah would because she could play. Set it off. She could play a thug, kind of.
Yeah.
Like the stereotype. I should take that word back, but that is what they're playing at him being. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The thing too that was a little bit off-putting, right, is like when they're apologizing, and then Anthony said, I even wrote it down because I was like, man, what a line when he says, "Thanks again for turning me in for murder." I was like, oh, this is a lot. When you really, if you take away the laugh track, it's like, ugh.
So, did you have Miss Georgia World in this episode?
You already know who my Miss Georgia World is in this episode, and she'll probably be my Miss Georgia World in every episode. Bernice with the hair. That hair was slayed, and that dress with that weird like blue on blue see-through. I was like, yes, Bernice. You're looking like a little elderly sex pot. I was into it.
So my Miss Georgia World this time was Anthony Bouvier. He looked so good in that suit.
He did.
I was surprised they put him in a suit. Like, I was like, you know what? He's showing them respect. He is like dressed to the nines. Good job, Anthony. I don't know where you got this money.
As black people will say, he was doing everything right. Everything right. And yet he's still being accused of murder.
I believe Spike Lee had a few things to say about this.
Ooh, could you imagine if Spike Lee did like a Designing Women movie about Anthony? Like it was from the perspective of Anthony Bouvier? Oh, I need to write a treatment for that.
Whew. All right. So, tell them where they can find you on the social medias, Auntie.
Well, if you are looking for us on the social medias, together we are at Mims and Maim. If you would like to find me and my drag and comedy and everything, I am located at Auntie Maim. That's MAIM, because I do like to maim a good joke. So that's where you can find me.
And I am the Divine Miss Mims. You can find me at Divine Miss Mims, not at the Divine Miss Mims. That's taken by somebody else who is a rapper. I don't know very much about her music, but feel free to check her out too. Why not? Let her know that I sent you to her. Maybe she'll, like drag queens or hate them. Anyway, and please consider being one of our supporters on Patreon.
We're broke.
We are broke. We are, we have these Yeti microphones, but we're broke.
We're struggling artists. By struggling artists, we mean that if we didn't have actual jobs, we would be struggling artists.
That is true. That I don't know what art I would do. I'm not very good at it, but drag queen artistry, maybe drag queen artistry.
It's art.
It's true. It's true. What is the next episode called? I'm looking it up. Oh no, what's going on here? Not that. What is going on with my phone?
I don't have my phone. I try to do well and not keep it nearby.
Oh. The next episode is episode 8. We do have one more character that we need to meet.
Who?
What is his name? Reese.
Oh my gosh, next episode is Reese?
Yes.
Oh, how timely.
I know. Next episode is season 1, episode 8. I do, I don't.
Oh, I'm going to cry probably talking about it.
Yeah, you will. All right, Auntie Maim. All right. I would also, hold on, I need to say one more thing before we leave. If you aren't watching Drag Race UK, please watch Drag Race UK.
Please.
It is, I dare say, better than the American version now because they still have joy.
Dare say, it's definitely better.
Yeah. And I just want to put out there, world, I am Team Bimini, 100%.
Team Bimini. Me too. Team Bimini.
So I want to tell you what I did on Twitter. This may not make it into the podcast, but I want to tell you what I did on Twitter.
Okay.
So I told you previously that my the soccer team I cheer for is the city that Bimini's from.
Okay.
And when she went out in that green and yellow outfit, it was for our soccer team, Norwich City, the Canaries. So I messaged. They have a lot of British soccer teams have supporter groups, and that's sometimes how you get like shares of the club or different kinds of tickets and sit in different parts of the stands. They have an LGBTQ plus supporter group called the Proud Canaries. So I directly messaged them on Twitter, and I was like, so this inquiring American drag queen and Proud Canary wants to know, are you Team Bimini? And I got a response back like 30 minutes later. Yes, of course we're Team Bimini. I was like, yay!
I'm telling you, the other day when I saw, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but when the Royal Society of Biology, like basically somebody made a meme about Bimini as a bacteria, and they basically said it said evidence of Paul blah 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 discovering the first bacteria, and it had a picture beside Bimini, and the Royal Society for Biology retweeted it and said, we can confirm this. I was like, oh my gosh. When the Royal Society of Biology weighs in, you know that there is a movement happening.
I would also like to say the nipples are the eyes of the face.
That needs to be on a t-shirt. I need it.
I know. Anyway, girl, it's been fun. It's been swell, but the swelling's gone down.
Thanks. Thank you, Preparation H.
All right,
Not sponsored.
bye, girl.
Bye, Annie. Bye.
Bye.